Hello everybody, GL1 here. Welcome to my online toy museum, and I'm going to start a short series on Star Wars toys. I have a friend, a woman in her 40s, who never saw the Star Wars movies. So we started watching them, and now we're on the Phantom Menace movies, starting with that. And actually, we're on Revenge of the Sith. But I promised that I would go over my old toy collection, and there's so many different ways to cut this collection up and show you. So I'm going to start with the old figures from the original Star Wars movie, 1977. I'm not going to show all the spaceships and everything, some of them, but like Millennium Falcons, I have so many I can just do a whole show on Millennium Falcons. And there was a time ago I did a show on TIE fighters, and I have a whole bunch of TIE fighters. So starting with 1977 C3PO, and as you can see, it's in really good condition. The chrome is not come off at all. And this is almost 50 years old. Really excellent chrome plating on the plastic. And so there he is, C3PO. And I wanted to show you in comparison to a 1998 C3PO. And you can see more detail. They made him look a little more weathered. You can see some of the electrical wires in his belly. Articulation is not improved at all. They did give him, his arms are at an angle, a different angle, which is often the way we saw him. The head turns a bit, and you turn him around, and the head turns on the old one too, so that's the same. Although this one has like a little clicking, it stops at certain areas. But you could see they eliminated this rivet, and you can just see a little more detail in the back of the knees and a little more the black paint and stuff, and dirty. So a little more detail, but really, this is just fantastic that this has been preserved that long. And I never even liked C3PO that much. I don't have an R2-D2 from back then, but I do have a couple of others we'll see. This is Hammerhead from 1978, and he was in the cantina. And when you saw him move, it was like crunching concrete. So the sound was like that when he was talking. And, he's still in good condition. And there's people that have this for sale for, up to $50. I don't know if I still have his weapon. The thing about the accessories, one is I didn't really appreciate them. And the other is they just get thrown into a box or boxes, and then you don't remember where anything is. I have a 1977 Han Solo here that I got by accident. So Mrs. GL1 got me the Rancor from Return of the Jedi at a one of those like a yard sale, and there was something inside, and I was shaking it, and I could hear something, and I shook it and shook it and shook it, and we're going to see the Rancor when I get to Return of the Jedi toys, and here out came Han Solo. So glad I have that. And you could see the sculpting, the head and everything, not really so good, and the proportions are a little off. The legs look a little short. They did give you pegs, though, that there were toys that you could peg them in and have them stand. Like there was like a part of the Death Star back then, and it had the trash compactor, and you could put your figures in there. I wanted to show you in comparison to the 2001 Han, and you could tell this really looks a lot more like Han Solo. Now this was a line of Star Wars toys in 2001. They're like, oh, let's reissue them out, and let's do some kind of gimmick with them, where when you turn it, it moves. He can fire his gun, and then there's like a button here, and you can push that, and then it's like, oh, he's turning to fire. People didn't really like that. They really didn't want a figure that was forced into a position. But you can holster his gun here and there, and this might not be the right gun, actually. But in any case, that's the gun he has today. So, like I said, with the accessories. And it came with a little stand. And I have a couple others, a couple other of these, but that you'll see later in another show. All right, 1977 Obi-Wan, and this is often the way you're going to see him. Now, they had a lightsaber that was up in the arm, and you'd push it forward, and it would come out a little wick of plastic, and it was blue, and that was his lightsaber. Oftentimes, you'll find Obi-Wan with the cape missing, but lucky enough, I still have it. I have no idea how I got this. Again, probably a yard sale. I really wasn't into the Star Wars toys back then too much, so a lot of just having them, it's kind of just luck. But I do have a lot now. And 1977 Stormtrooper, and I'm sure everyone's seen this guy. And for so many years, I thought that there was a manufacturing problem with the legs because the knees are different. But then, one time I was watching the movie and I go, oh, that's how they are. So that's how they made them. So there he is. And then this guy, Death Star Commander from 1977. And who knew, right? So that this was a thing. But yeah, had that figure too from back. Again, probably a yard sale, or someone just gave it to me. Sometimes people give me toys. Well, the good old 1977 Darth Vader. And I was always in search of getting the ultimate Darth Vader in this scale. And finally, last year, I got it. So here is the way you will often see the 1977 Darth Vader. Without a cape and without a lightsaber. And oftentimes the paint is all rubbed off here. Okay? But you are in luck because I have a practically mint condition Darth Vader from back then. So take a look at that. So look at the buttons. Everything's all shiny. And then the lightsaber, here's what I'm talking about. You just extend it right out of the wrist. And what's nice about that is you don't lose it. This is usually, if you even have the lightsaber, this is usually broken off. Now, why this would end up missing anyway, I don't know if it's maybe this little tab breaks off and then it just falls out, or kids just, when you pull it this way, maybe you want to play with it with another figure. Maybe that's why, because I don't know why they're often missing. And then, if you remember in the Death Star, there was the mouse droid, and that was, driving around on the floor. And I've seen this. People have tried to sell this for $50 too. I don't know which set this went to. I don't know whether this is 77 or what, but probably not. But, all right. So that's what I have for the really old figures. But now would be a good time to stop here, and then I'm going to continue a short show on the Darth Vaders.